Uh, okay, it just started. Ain't put no lipstick on or anything. Good Lord. So anyway, I'm out doing chores. Matter of fact, to tell you the God honest truth, I'm doing some things that redundancy. I figure that there's a lot of, I figure that there's a lot of other things that I could be doing. But the thing is that as I am trying to care for the things that are readily in place for me and trying to provide sustain it. I just had this thought that I want to share with people. So I don't want to say young or old. When I was doing the banking, I would meet people and they will make their deposits and stuff like that. So I had asked a person like, "Well, what is it that you're doing to save?" Well, his thing was is that um, he took advantage of saving his saving his taxes. And I'm like, well, some people are fortunate, okay, where they're able to maximize on their taxes and save money that way. Here nor there, with however they get it. But listen to this. Um, for some people, it's hard to save, right? And the thing is that once you think about saving and you have people that are there to help you, that's a good thing. It's a good thing to have other people help you to save whatever it is that you need to do to maximize. So for a lot of younger people, this is for younger people or people who just getting their job. So I said on here, I think I titled this, "What's first, house or property or car?" Property or car, right? So when I was working at the bank, and I was like, okay, I had my employment and everything like that. I was already a ready-made family. So, and I got so what it was is that I wanted a car. Okay. So I was like, okay, I want a car. And then let's just say a mentor, she was like saying to me, I said, oh, I can apply for a credit card. They approved, she was just looked at me like, Lord have mercy. Now she just told me, don't get involved in no credit cards. Okay. This is what she was telling me. And I was like, well, why not? I was asking her, why not, right? And she's just like, man, those credit cards, they're something else. You got to pay for them and this, that, and the other. So it seemed pretty easy at first because you could say, okay, well, I'll just do 200, $300, and then you're like you want to build up your credit and all that kind of stuff. And so you could get you a car because a car is different than, let's say, getting a car loan is easy to get for some people. Some of the interest rate may be high, right? But you can get you a car. Now, this is the thing with the creditors. The creditors, they're looking at how you're going to apply for your first credit, your first responsibility. Okay. Now, the thing is that if you're feeling like you have to be obligated to pay something, like a car note, you have to be responsible for that. You got to pay for that every month. However amount that is, it could be anywhere from $300 and more. Okay, $300 a month and more, and that's not including insurance. Say, all right, you can get it easy and say 250, but then you have insurance that you have to pay for every month as well, and then you have gas and this, that, and the other. Okay. So now the creditors are looking at one thing or the other. So my advice to people is if you're going to start your credit, get tangible credit. I know a car, you can drive it off the lot, it depreciates as soon as you drive it off the lot. Whereas property, with the property, you are able to, it grows or build escrow. Okay. So once you get it, you can fix the property and then you can tap into it and resell it or, tap into it and then, rent it out or something, right? You can stay in it. Okay. So for people who get a good job, and this is some matter of fact, this conversation even before people get, let's say, student debt. Okay. Because some people they go right from high school, they go to college, and then if they are not low income or their parents can help them or something like that, then that ratio is also a little different. So don't get it twisted. A lot of people take advantage of FAFSA, and we're thankful for it, okay? Because it allows a lot of people to afford education. But if you're going saying, "Oh, okay, well, out of high school, I'm gonna go get me a good job, let's say with a department store or something, and they paying you relatively fair amount of money," it's okay to think about relocating, my people. It's okay to think about relocating. Sometimes I don't want us to feel burdened as if, oh Lord, house market is so high in one place because there's other places that have affordable housing. Okay, and if you get with a chain like a national or a multi corporation, then they have places around the world. So the United States has 50 plus states. Okay, so those 50, I don't want to name them all. You just look at the map. And we have territories like Hawaii and Guam and Puerto Rico. So if you want to be around a whole lot of water, there's Guam. You want to be around a whole lot of water, there's Puerto Rico. You want to be in the island and all that kind of thing. Hey, it's there for you. Okay, but you can look at wherever you're working and then apply wherever you are and get up the corporate ladder. Find your place. Each one of those places have corporate ladders. Okay, just because we see a McDonald's or a Taco Bell restaurant, popular restaurant, doesn't mean that they're not in other places or other states. Some of these places are even in other countries. Okay, so I know that the transportation thing is like, oh, I want to get me a ride. Some people are fortunate; they could get a car for $1,000. Some people could get a ride for $500 and make it work, and they know how to get transportation wherever they need to go. It's that easy. Matter of fact, some people have started off with car dealerships that way. Okay, getting cars and stuff from the auction. My point is that don't get so saturated with just the material aspect of a vehicle. You can actually get a property. Now, when I look at my situation, when you get caught up with high credit card debts and stuff like that, now they're looking at a ratio. If you don't have any money, you just don't have any money. And then if you're talking about all the property and it is and it that, and it became so simple. No, seriously. Well, if you can afford a home or if you want to see what your credit is, apply for property. Apply for a mortgage. And then they're gonna let you know where your status is financially. Okay, because now you got to pull out all these documents and stuff like that, and that would be the same thing, paying for your student loans and all the other kind of stuff, or making sure that you can get a good paying job after you finish school. I ain't gonna lie to you, I think that was the holdup, because I'm like, well, listen, once you finish school, that's what you want to do. You want to find a good job, and you want that job to pay your bills, okay, because you got bills and you have a lifestyle, right? Now, if you're not working and you don't have no job or anything like that, and you're going from ends meet and talking about a barter structure and all that other kind of thing, how the hell you gonna get that house that you want? Well, you can, your application may be a little different here and there. So somebody said, well, listen, well, how responsible are you? Well, your credit won't lie or fib on you. Okay, at one time it was real popular when people were going back and forth with the banks. Okay, it was like a popular thing before we even got to, let's just say, the ATM card, where people were having a difficulty. Thank God for online banking. Okay, for some people, an ATM, because when we didn't have that, there was a lot of stuff that was going on with fraudulent checks and stuff like that, and people were not consuming the way they should be consuming. Okay, so advice to the young people. I understand. Don't get me misunderstood. But whenever you're able to afford a place, it could be a very small place. It could be a big place. Okay. Matter of fact, they even have incentives. I encourage you to do well wherever you're working, right? And wherever you're working, I understand there is a lot of people when we start talking about gentrification. Okay, gentrification, modification, and all the other fications. The thing was is that they were getting some of the young people. Some people didn't want to be responsible for owning property, but they were getting the young people, getting them all twisted up with here it is credit and banking. Okay, And so what was happening with all that credit and banking, it was interfering with them owning property. Now, a lot of people end up being in apartments and not homes. Okay? A lot of people. So then that conversation about affordable housing, it became a very big subject for people who were service workers, including teachers and police officers. Okay? Because they were working, but then wherever their choices of stay, it was actually minimum compared to, let's just say, somebody else. So we have a lot of people who are working and don't own property. Okay, so the outcry to talk about housing is one thing, and it's another thing to talk about affordable housing. Okay, so affordable housing for some people are homes that fall under $100,000. So if you're making $10, $10 to $15 an hour, you possibly could afford that amount. And boy, here we go again around this trust thing. Okay, trusting other people, trusting other people. Because the thing is, there's one thing to share property, and it's another thing when you have somebody who's trying to dupe you, don't want to help out or anything like that. And then you got to look at the circumstances. If somebody is deliberately making money and they don't want to pay the bills, and then yet they're wanting you to be the one to suffer to pay all the bills, then that's a problem. Okay, somebody else who want to sit there and say, okay, well, listen, this, that, and the other, and then they try to hamstring the help. That's a whole nother issue. I encourage you, whoever it is in this worldwide world, world web, um, to get the property first. Matter of fact, you can go to HUD.gov, and then there's a lot of other. You could go to Realtor.com and Homes.com, and you could search different states. I know at one time, Midwest was really popular. They had a lot of properties. Matter of fact, they even had duplexes and triplexes and stuff like that. When the automobile industry um, uh, bubbled, a lot of other people moved from the Midwest. So when people say, "Well, listen, we've been at a work revitalizing our communities and doing this and doing that," I'm like, "Well, honey, there was a lot of properties at that time. You was able to get them for X amount of dollars. It was snowing up there, but I'm like, honey, there's a lot of people who know about the code. You know, Arctic Ocean, okay, Arctic Ocean, looking up, okay." And I'm saying that because now when you ask people again about the housing market, and then this is another good thing though. Hold on. Now you get you a house or you can stay with somebody, and then you need to go somewhere, then you have your car. You can move around with your car. But then if you someplace where they have 24-hour bus service, then you have to weigh out those pros and cons and those options, okay? Because it becomes just like that. Okay? I'm like a little Chinese baby. Not Chinese like Chai, but Chinese. Anyway, you understand? So the creditors, when they look at the person's first choice, see, they come out at us as some people with credit cards. They're looking at the people at credit cards. And it would be the same thing for parents. You know what I mean? If you already know that your child is going to be in school for 6 to 7 months, 6 to 7 years, then the first thing would be property. I was like, listen, we should really look at some property. You understand? And then when you're looking at that, now you're able to build equity off of that. You can build equity. Some of the mistakes that I have made, not giving myself my own advice, I'm telling you. Okay, what are those mistakes? Not taking my own advice that I'm sharing with you. Think about it, okay? You have credit, car, property. Credit card property.